to Comfort TV, the channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. I am Faith Kevin. Thank you for joining us this Monday morning. In the headlines, President Tinubu orders replication of Western countries' roads in Nigeria. Shettima departs Abuja for 80th UNGA in New York. Federal government releases proof of 25,000 naira cash transfers to 71 million Nigerians in 8.1 million households. EFCC partners Korean police on financial crimes. Federal government threatens Abuja-Lokoja road contractors with EFCC ICPC probe. On business, White House clarifies $100,000 H-1B visa fee as India, Nigeria weigh global talent mobility risks. And on the foreign scene, UK, Portugal to recognize Palestinian state ahead of UN debate. On sports, Rooney thanks Maresca for strange decision in Man United's 2-1 win over Chelsea. Now the news. The Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, has disclosed that President Bola Tinubu has directed the ministry to replicate the quantity of road infrastructure obtainable in Western countries across the country. Umahi disclosed this during an inspection of the ongoing Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway reconstruction project. He said the president has not only shown passion for the timely completion of the road, but also has committed huge resources to ensure its delivery as a legacy project. He emphasized that site inspections and close supervision are key to achieving the directive, adding that the ministry has now dedicated Saturdays for field visits. The minister revealed that Section 1 and Section 3 of the project, covering 118 kilometers, are valued at 252 billion naira, out of which 60 billion naira, 30%, has already been paid. According to him, Section 2, covering 72 kilometers dual carriage, is being constructed with reinforced concrete and flexible asphalt pavement for 507 billion naira, with 105 billion naira already paid. He assured Nigerians that the new concrete roads under construction will last for over 100 years, unlike the previous road which deteriorated within a decade. While commending contractors for the progress recorded so far, Umahi warned them against shoddy work, stressing that its integrity is tied to the timely completion of the project within 14 months. Umahi also said the president has instructed that no Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited NNPC-funded road project should be abandoned, insisting that the ministry would now prioritize milestones over certificates of completion. On his part, the Minister of State for Works, Barrister Bello Goronyo, lauded the contractors for the quality of work, but urged them to intensify efforts to recover time lost during the rainy season. He noted that durable roads and bridges remain vital enablers of economic growth, as they provide the foundation upon which other sectors thrive. Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja for the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA. The event will be held in New York, United States of America, from today, Monday, 22nd September, to Sunday, 28th September. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, disclosed this in a statement on Sunday. Representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the global event, Shettima will deliver Nigeria's national statement and join other dignitaries at the UN high-level general debates, amongst other side events. He will also announce Nigeria's new nationally determined contributors, NDCs, under the Paris Agreement at this year's UN Special Event on Climate. Nkwocha said the Vice President will attend a special event on climate for heads of state and governments to be hosted by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Wednesday. Shettima is also slated to attend the high-level roundtable of the global champions on adequate and affordable housing to be hosted by the President of Kenya on September 24 and attend to other bilateral meetings and events. After attending the UNGA, the Vice President will leave for Frankfurt, Germany, where he is slated to meet with officials at the Deutsche Bank before returning to Nigeria. The Nigerian presidency has published detailed evidence confirming that over 71 million vulnerable citizens across 8.1 million households have received at least one tranche of the federal government's 25,000 naira monthly cash transfer under the National Social Safety Net program. The disclosure shared through official channels include a statement from the Coordinating Minister of the Economy and Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, highlighting the program's scale and reach. According to the documentation, out of the 19.7 million households enrolled in the National Social Register, encompassing approximately 70 to 75 million Nigerians, 8.1 million households representing about 71 million individuals have been disbursed a total of 330 billion naira in stipends. This intervention, backed by an $800 million World Bank facility, aims to mitigate the economic hardship triggered by fuel subsidy removal and naira flotation. Finance Minister Edun emphasized the program's digital infrastructure during a recent briefing, noting that payments are processed securely via bank accounts and mobile wallets to prevent fraud and political interference. The evidence includes beneficiary verification lists, transaction logs, and geotagged distribution reports, which have been uploaded to the National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office NASCO portal for public scrutiny. The initiative, part of President Bola Tinubu's broader poverty alleviation strategy, was initially targeted at 15 million households, but has since expanded to cover the current 19.7 million on the register. Distribution data reveals a regional skew, with 71% of funds allocated to northern states and 21% to southern regions, reflecting the higher concentration of vulnerable populations in the north. To date, over 419 billion naira has been disbursed in some places, with ongoing expansions to reach an additional 2.2 million households by year-end. The release comes amid ongoing debates about the program's efficacy, with civil society groups praising the transparency while calling for faster rollout to the remaining eligible beneficiaries. President Tinubu's administration has hailed the transfer as a vital buffer against inflation and rising living costs, with early evaluations showing improved access to food and basic needs among recipients. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, led by Minister Netanyahu Wata, confirmed that the 2025 Humanitarian Needs and Response Plan will integrate these cash transfers with complementary programs such as conditional cash incentives tied to school enrollment and health checkups. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the National Office of Investigation, Korean National Police Agency (KNPA) have signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) on tackling economic and financial crimes and strengthening institutional capacities. The signing of the MOU took place in Seoul, South Africa, at the 3rd International Counter-Fraud Conference themed Global Fraud Shield, Coordinated Defense Against Evolving Threats, hosted by the Korean National Police Agency. The MOU focuses on information exchange, best practices sharing, capacity building, institutional strengthening, research collaboration, asset recovery, coordination, public education, mutual support platform, training exchange, international cooperation, and flexible expansion, and was signed by Ola Olukoyede and the Deputy Commissioner General of KNPA, Park Seong-ju. Olukoyede stated that the pact represents formalization of bilateral commitment to enhanced cooperation in combating economic and financial crimes between the two agencies. He articulated how the partnership aligned with his strategic agenda of economic development focus, transparency and accountability, and international image boosting of Nigeria as contained in his three-pronged agenda on his appointment by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023. Olukoyede stressed that anti-corruption work was fundamentally about building stronger societies, adding that the partnership represented more than just institutional cooperation, but embodied their shared commitment to creating a safer, more transparent global financial ecosystem. He further stated that they were creating a model for how nations could collaborate effectively against crimes that knew no boundaries. The federal government on Saturday threatened to drag 3 contractors handling sections of the Abuja-Lokoja Road before the EFCC and the ICPC over poor performances. Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, issued the warning during an inspection tour from Abuja to Obajana Junction in Kogi State. Umahi expressed disappointment that one of the contractors had completed only 3 kilometers out of 400-kilometer stretch 2 years after the contract was awarded. The minister acknowledged that quality of work on some sections was commendable. He expressed disappointment over the pace of the project's execution. He warned that field engineers who failed to raise alarm over non-performance would also be held accountable. The Abuja-Lokoja dual carriageway covers about 460 kilometers. According to Umahi, the President Tinubu administration has already intervened in over 230 kilometers, leaving about 200 kilometers in deplorable condition. He listed some of the contractors on the project, noting varying degrees of performance. The minister, however, singled out some contractors, particularly Soji, for poor performance, warning that the government would no longer tolerate such delays. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezekalo, has reiterated the urgent need for Nigeria to embrace the creation of state police, insisting that the move can no longer be postponed if the country is serious about overcoming its worsening security challenges. Kylie, who spoke with journalists in Abuja shortly after returning from Geneva, Switzerland, where he represented Nigeria at the 55th Parliamentary Conference of the World Trade Organization and Inter-Parliamentary Union Public Forum 2025, described the nation's current centralized policing architecture as grossly inadequate and out of tune with global best practices. According to him, Nigeria's peculiar security threats, ranging from insurgency and terrorism in the northeast to banditry in the northwest, farmer-herder clashes in the Middle Belt, and rising incidents of kidnapping and violent crimes across the country cannot be effectively contained without devolving policing powers to the federating unit. He explained that the current one-size-fits-all policing model could not deliver the level of security citizens deserved. He stressed that the creation of state police was not a luxury but a necessity, adding that the time to act was now. According to him, the world has moved far ahead of Nigeria in this regard, and the country could not continue to pretend that a centralized structure will solve its problems. The Deputy Speaker argued that empowering state governments with policing authority alongside proper oversight mechanisms would help to bring law enforcement closer to the grassroots, build trust with local communities, and allow for swifter responses to emergencies. He stressed that decentralization remains the only viable path if the country wants to restore order and guarantee safety for its citizens. ComfortTV.channel news returns shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is ComfortTV.channel's news. On business, the White House has moved to calm fears over the Trump administration's controversial proclamation imposing an annual $100,000 fee on H-1B visa applications, clarifying that the surcharge will apply only to new applicants and not to current holders or new renewals. Post and X officials confirmed that those selected in this year's H-1B lottery, due to take effect on October 1, are exempt. The announcement came after days of confusion that triggered anxiety in Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and among thousands of skilled foreign workers. The H-1B program is a lifeline of U.S. employers seeking foreign nationals in specialty occupations ranging from software engineering to medical research. Companies including Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon had scrambled to contain employee concerns, advising workers on H-1B visas to delay foreign travel until the rules were clarified. The administration maintains that the measure is designed to ensure that the visa scheme prioritizes high-skilled labor while strengthening domestic workforce protections. India, the single largest source of H-1B recipients, has expressed concern over the financial and humanitarian implications of the surcharge. According to U.S. government data, Indians accounted for more than 70% of approved H-1B visas in 2024. The ministry noted that Indian industry groups has already begun assessing the potential impact, with both countries expected to consult on ways to manage the fallout. Nigeria and Africa watch closely. Beyond India, the fee could also reshape mobility patterns for other countries with rising stakes in the global knowledge economy. Nigeria, which has consistently ranked among the top African sources of skilled migrants in the U.S., is watching developments closely. Demand for American work, study, and business visa remains strong among Nigerian professionals, particularly in information technology, healthcare, and finance. The H-1B visa pathway is seen not only as a route for personal career advancement, but also as a channel through which skills and remittances flow back into the Nigerian economy. On the foreign scene, Britain and Portugal were on Sunday expected to recognize a Palestinian state ahead of a key week at the UN's gathering, where a suite of nations is set to do the same to pressure Israel over Gaza. A growing number of longtime Israeli allies have shifted positions in recent months as Israel has intensified its Gaza offensive, triggered by Hamas's unprecedented 2023 attack. The besieged Palestinian territory has suffered vast destruction, death, and lack of food that have resulted in a major humanitarian crisis. Around 10 nations are expected to recognize a Palestinian state in the coming days. The Labour leader, Starmer, said in July that Britain will formally recognize the state of Palestine if Israel did not take substantive steps towards a ceasefire with Hamas by the time the UN General Assembly convened. He said at the time that the move would make a contribution to a proper peace process at the moment of maximum impact for the two-state solution. In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused him of rewarding monstrous terrorism and appeasing jihadist ideology. Portugal's foreign ministry said on Friday that it will also formally declare its recognition. France and Canada are among the other Western nations planning to recognize a Palestinian state at the UN gathering in the coming week. Guineans began casting ballots Sunday on a draft constitution that would pave the way for elections, but also permit the junta leader who seized power 4 years ago to run for president in a referendum boycotted by the opposition. The vote, which Guineans and the international community have been waiting for years, opens the way for stalled political elections in the West African nation. The country has been ruled by General Mamadi Doumbouya since he overthrew elected civilian president Alpha Condé in 2021. Some 6.7 million Guineans will be able to cast a ballot out of a population of approximately 14.5 million people. Results are not expected until Tuesday evening at the earliest, according to the country's election body. Guinea's military initially pledged to return power to civilians before the end of 2024. Although its authorities are now promising presidential and legislative elections before the end of the year, the junta has not yet set a date. Campaigning has been strong in the referendum's Yes Camp rallies. Marching bands and posters depicting 40-year-old Doumbouya have been prevalent throughout the country. Still on the foreign scene, passengers at London Heathrow Airport and those in Brussels and Berlin faced another day of delays on Sunday after an alleged cyber attack hit check-in desk software. Airlines were forced to revert to manual checking from Friday night after the alleged attack hit Collins Aerospace, which provides check-in desk technology to various airlines. Airports urge customers to check the status of their flights before traveling and ask passengers to arrive no earlier than 3 hours before long-haul flights and 2 hours before shorter journeys. Now in sports, former Manchester United striker Wayne Rooney has criticized Enzo Maresca's decision in Chelsea's 2-1 defeat to the Red Devils in the Premier League on Saturday. Rooney said he was thankful to the former Leicester City boss over his errors that helped the Red Devils claim their second victory of the season. Rooney pointed out that Maresca's decision to substitute Pedro Neto was strange and negative. Chelsea suffered a 2-1 defeat to Manchester United at Old Trafford, with goals from Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. 5 minutes into the game, Enzo Maresca's men were cut down to 10 after goalkeeper Robert Sanchez was given a straight red, a last-man foul on Manchester United's Brian Mbeumo. Chelsea's Italian gaffer made some changes immediately, bringing on Philip Jorgensen to replace Estavio, while defender Tosin Aderabio was brought on for Pedro Neto. And that's our news bulletin for today, but before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. President Tinubu orders replication of Western countries' roads in Nigeria. Shatima departs Abuja for 80th UNGA in New York. Federal government releases proof of 25,000 naira cash transfers to 71 million Nigerians in 8.1 million households. EFCC partners Korean police on financial crimes. Federal government threatens Abuja-Lokoja road contractors with EFCC ICPC probe. On the foreign scene, UK, Portugal to recognize Palestinian state ahead of UN debate. Guinea votes in constitutional referendum boycotted by opposition. On sports, Rooney thanks Maresca for strange decision in Man United's 2-1 win over Chelsea. Thanks for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews, and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel on all platforms. Remember to like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates. I am Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed.